Thank you for your time today. Okay. What I would like to speak with you guys about today is a special moment in time, a moment in time in which we can be first movers into a $4.5 billion market opportunity in the United States alone. What we're talking about is faith-based clothing. As you may know, the global fashion market of apparel is $2.4 trillion, growing to a little bit over $3 trillion in the next 9 years. Now, in the United States alone, the segment of faith-based clothing apparel sales each year is $4.5 billion. And that's the niche that we're focused on. Now, the clothing industry has gone through just a meteoric rise in the last several decades. In 1980, imagine the typical clothing buyer. In the last 40 years, clothing purchases of single items from shirts to dresses, pants, clothing sales for the average consumer have risen 500%. Hard to believe unless you've been following the trends, but the average American purchases 68 new articles of clothing each and every year. Now, why is that interesting? Just take the average woman, for example. In the average closet of an American female, she owns 103 articles of clothing. What that means is every 2 years, she is completely cycling out her closet. How is that possible? Well, according to the recent statistics of a UPI Harris poll, 25% of a woman's clothing in her closet are simply non-wearable. 30% are too tight. Another 28% are too loose, on and on. And then there's the other thing that is really accelerating clothing purchases today, and that is TikTok, videos. As you might have known, videos and apparel go hand in hand. Most people only wear their clothing about, hard to believe, 7 times before not wearing them, upon which they actually donate them. So what people are looking for now is not just great clothes that are comfortable, but what they're looking for are clothes that are trendy and stylish, that express themselves, that they can also communicate to the masses. Now, going back to faith-based apparel, 20% of Americans consider themselves deeply, deeply religious. 75% of Americans believe in God. Now, the vast majority of Americans, in fact, 68% of Americans, say that they would love to wear faith-based clothing if it could be cool, actually funky and trendy is what they said. Now, the majority of men, let's say, under 23 years old, for them, the number one seller is t-shirts. Well, you know what? They've actually expressed an interest that they actually want more than t-shirts. They want a shirt like this that expresses their personality, who they are, what they're all about, God-fearing and about the Lord, but they also want to look cool. They actually want to be able to wear on their sleeve, or in this case, on my heart, the cross of the Lord, and they actually want to go out in the public into a social venue and hang out and be cool with trendy clothes. And that is a market that is not being served right now. Now, we went to 4 local universities in the Research Triangle Park area. We went to Duke, we went to Carolina, we went to NC State, and we went to NCCU. And we sampled 100 students at each of those universities, and we asked them these questions about faith-based clothing and apparel, and the responses were overwhelming. And then you just quickly give them the answers that they said. Now, we then showed them the apparel that we had to offer, not telling them that they were our clothing, and we presented our portfolio to them, and then we presented them the price points. Now, also, we showed them the top 10 clothing items, faith-based clothing items being sold today on Amazon. And we had them pick from top 1 to 10 in ranking what they liked most. We took the top 7 out of 10 spots and a first 5. Now, What does that tell us? It tells us that the market today is craving faith-based clothing. It's a growing market, $4.5 billion. Now, we know that there's a need for it. We know it's being underserved. Now, what does this have to do with right now in a special moment in time? TikTok. You might remember a viral video that went crazy on Ocean Spray, this little cranberry drink. And literally, this guy on a skateboard was drinking like a little jug of cranberry, listening to a Stevie Nicks song, and it got seen by over 1 billion people. Funny enough, sales of the cranberry drink went up 7,000%, right? In the course of that first 2 months. There is yet to be a faith-based clothing brand that has actually truly taken advantage of this moment in time of social media. None of them have actually reached out to some of the, let's say, leading influencers of the faith-based community. Well, we have. These are the top 20 viewers, faith-based influencers on TikTok. They get collectively over 2 billion views every month. And we actually messaged them and we asked them, hey, if we come out with our faith-based clothing line, we show them our apparel, would you be willing to wear this apparel once a week or once a month and show your audience what we're doing here? Now, here's the thing. Yes, it's a great way for these influencers to make money because they'll have a direct link. They can direct them to our website where they'll have their own page on our website. For example, Shirley MacLaine, making up that name, will have a dedicated page on our website that she will send her followers to. And then she and her friends will be the ones modeling and wearing the faith-based shirts that we're selling. Then, not only will they get XYZ cut, let's say 30%, the other 20% cut out of that half will then go directly to a charity of faith of her choosing. The 50% rest of that profit goes to us. 18 out of those 20 influencers all agreed that they would love to do it. So what do we have now? We know there's a desire for faith-based clothing. We know that it is a growing industry. We have a solution called Great Clothes that has been proven and chosen and picked by the top 4 universities in America's 5th largest, most populous state. And we reached out to the 20 top influencers with over 3 billion monthly views, and 90%, 18 of them, have already agreed that they will move forward and wear our clothing. These are the contracts that we actually have signed with them, stating that when the clothes are available, that they will get their dedicated page, and that they will then, and their friends will then be models for it. So that's where we're at today. We have several meetings now lined up with some of the top investors in this clothing market. We've reached out to you today because we're reaching out to a lot of people. You just never know who's going to be the right one. Now, God got me here in front of you for a reason. Maybe you are the one. Maybe you're just here, the first person to see it, and you'll just become a consumer. But this is one thing that I do know. Going back to the average American woman, the average woman will spend over $125,000 on clothing in her lifetime. Why is that important? Because the first mover in any market always gets the loyalty and the long-term customers for their lifetime. We have the opportunity, no, we will be the number one choice for life for all generations of Americans and global for clothing of faith that is cool and trendy. The question is, will you be part of that or not? I hope you will. Let me know if you have any questions.